Subaru has introduced the world's first exterior airbag for cyclists on its new SUV. So this one is, in my opinion, a little bit bonkers. The first time I read those words, I was like, oh yeah, cool, they're thinking about cyclists. And then I absorbed it a bit more. I looked at the pictures and it's just this massive U-shaped airbag on the windscreen. And it is just ludicrous, isn't it? So essentially, if a car plows into, or if a driver plows into you as on your bike, there'll be some cushioning on the A-frame pillars on the car, which are apparently unbelievably hard and strong, and across the front of the bonnet. And that is going to allegedly save you from a hideous crash, I guess.
But what about the bumper, though? That feels like an oversight. Surely, if the impact is hard enough that it throws you over the windscreen, you're first hitting the bumper, the front of the car, are you not?
Well, presumably, yeah, unless you've jumped in the air.
I don't think you can make it work in the bumper because you need the impact to activate it. So essentially...
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, true.
Unfortunately, it's...
So this invention has not gone down well with cyclists or drivers. Both sides have got very vocal about it in the news online. Cyclists hate that the car's been designed around hitting them, understandably. Meanwhile, some drivers seem to be angry that they're going to have to pay for this feature. Thankfully, most of them won't have to pay for it because at the moment it's only being released in Japan.
For now.
People are ridiculous, man. How can the cyclists be upset about it? Yes, I would much rather get hit by this car with the airbag than a car without the airbag. Yeah, I mean, it's like saying, how can you be... Yes, I get that it's bad that it's been designed, but at the same time, it's like saying...
The argument is, why are cars being designed around hitting people?
Why do cars have seatbelts?
Design cars to not hit people.
Yeah, but why do I have a child seat in my car for my child? Is that saying, oh, I've bought this car seat because I'm planning on crashing with her in the back? No, it's an extra safety precaution. People are ridiculous, man.
It's a good point.
Like, just...
It's true. I guess, does it... is it setting a bad precedent of, like, if you build cars around the idea of hitting people, does it then make you as a driver more complacent or less bothered? Or, I mean, I don't know. I guess that is the argument, isn't it?
Well, I'm not going to say nobody, but very few people go out aiming to hit people.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like kind of, and also it's like saying, yes, those people, it doesn't really matter because they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, you're right. I would rather be hit by this car. I think, although, interestingly, this piece of news about the Subaru came out in the same week as a new study which has found cyclists are 44% more likely to be killed by supersized SUVs than smaller passenger vehicles. And for children, the risk is even higher. So actually, in some way, if you're going to have a bigger, arguably more dangerous car, then yes, it should have some extra safety features.
Yes, but I think the bigger SUVs, the reason it kills people is because it's higher up, so it hits your vital organs. So a smaller car hits your legs. Yes, that's bad. You could lose your legs or break your legs, but it's that impact with the bonnet and the A-frame of the car. So if you hit a windscreen, you tend to go into it. Yes, and cut you open. But if your head hits that A-frame, which is made to structurally keep the car's roof from denting in, that's what's going to get you. So I think the airbag's not going to just work for cyclists. It'll work for pedestrians. Kids are more likely because, generally speaking, they're shorter.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, I've been hit by a car 3 times. So once while walking, twice on a bike.
Same person, presumably.
No, one was actually bizarrely, randomly, one of my best mates hit me in a car park by pure fluke. We weren't meeting each other at the same shopping mall. I just walked out.
I'll be honest. There's been times I've been tempted to run you over as well.
The first time I got hit on a bike, I was 7 years old by my next door neighbor, and they tried to blame it on me, even though they were driving the wrong side of the road. Yeah, so I've had quite a few incidents. But yeah.
And what are you saying? It's not that bad. You're still here. Stop complaining.
I've just been lucky. Yes, so the SUV, yeah, I think this is excellent technology.
Do you?
I don't understand why people
Would you like to see it rolled out on all cars?
Yes, 100%. More safety is better. It's that whole argument of the drivers complaining that they have to pay for it as well. Do you know how much stuff we have to pay for that we never use? Do people understand how taxes work? And council tax, things like that.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like that.
You pay for the police, hoping that you never have to have the police come around your house. You pay for the fire department, hoping that your house never burns down. So So you're paying for somebody else's house burning down to be fixed. It's community goodwill. You pay road tax, not because your bicycle or your car is damaging the roads, but because a lorry that's heavier. There's so much stuff people pay for. It's one of those things.
That's actually a very good point. It's a good argument.
He's with pulling out all of the good arguments today, isn't he? So I think Subaru have actually done something like this before. I think in 2016 they had an external pedestrian airbag, and this is obviously this new one is specifically for cyclists. But they have a history of, I guess, out of the box thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. It's just, I guess, it's the reason that it probably turns people's stomachs as well. It's like it's just an incredibly dark and depressing thing to talk about, and I think a lot of us road cyclists are in the mentality of it's a dangerous place to be anyway, and you don't want to be confronted with the idea of, well, I am going to get hit.
Yeah.
And that's almost what turns it off. But in some ways, yes, it would be better to be hit by this car than another. But hopefully none at all.
Yeah. I'm doing my best to not even process that as a thought. I don't want to think about whether I'd prefer to be hit by one car over another, so I'm just going to avoid it. I do personally think, though, that driving is getting worse. And some of the stuff that I've seen over the last couple of months, and even the last couple of weeks more in particular, I don't know if it's people are getting excited about summer. I just think it's getting worse. And you never see police out on the roads doing anything to, like, stop bad driving. And I think this is definitely, or at least in the north, has been the case for a very, very long time. And people have got into a habit of, oh, actually, I can drive like an idiot and there are no consequences. And then that snowballs and snowballs. And like the amount of times that people are on the wrong side of the road, I'm going around a corner and they come over the line into my side because they're going too fast. I've seen a car literally get air coming around a corner on a bumpy road. Like that is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
I can easily explain that. It's technology in every aspect of technology. So you can look at it two different aspects. You can look at cars are getting better. Because they're getting better, they're getting heavier because a lot of the stuff going, all these EVs and things like that coming out. So your car drives faster, but it's smoother to drive. It doesn't feel as fast. Suspension's getting better. So you have more confidence driving at a higher speed. So people tend to take corners faster. And then essentially they're on that limit. So that becomes an issue. The second part of technology is telephones. So 20 years ago, your phone, nobody really messaged you. There wasn't a lot of stuff to see on your phone. People rang you and things like that. Where now, people are constantly, you still see it every day. People on their phones reading texts or responding to message, or they've got a notification, then quick glance to see what it is. So
I mean, whilst driving?
Yeah. Right. Concentration-wise. You start looking at these crazy infotainment systems in cars where you can change all these things. Where in the past you had a radio, which you kept it on one station, you never really looked at it. Now there's loads of more stuff to look at. You're looking at sat-navs. People didn't really focus on the roads and signs because back in the day, you had to look at signs to realize where you're going. Where now you've got this thing in your car, or they've got their phones in the middle of the dash. All these things as technology is making people more complacent, but also more distracted.
Yeah, you're right. When we had Cycler Mikey on, I'm sure he said something about even if you glance down at your phone, it takes your brain, I can't remember that it was something like 5 or seconds or something like that to actually get back onto the road. So it's not just the glance as well.
So yeah, you're right, Jimmy. I agree with you. The other thing is we are also, me and you, getting older. And the older you get, you start complaining about stuff you never complained about. You're also becoming a lot more. Cars didn't bother me when I was younger.
Yep.
Grazing past me, getting hit by a car the next time on my bike. I just didn't think of consequences. But now you think, if I get hit, I'm old. I'm going to take long to recover.
I'm going to need
I've got stuff to do. You know what I mean? It's like you've got responsibilities and things where before it just wasn't an issue.
Correct.
Old age and technology.
Well, I think that I'm getting it. To me, it feels like life is the first Matrix. Not the being in the Matrix bit, the outside of the Matrix bit. So I think that I need to start developing an EMP that takes down all technology, and I want to reset the world.
Yeah, but it's going to get even worse because now technology is going to make you live longer. So you're going to get even older, meaning you can even think the driving and everything's worse. It's a slippery slope.
Even more reason for the EMP then. Get it in early.
There's theories that the Matrix happened in 99 because everything's just gone downhill since 2000.
Well, on the topic of The Matrix, I've just Googled it, and that was released in 1999.
Yeah.
And I actually do like that film, and I would watch it. So there is one for the pile of 1900s films that I would watch. It's a pile of one currently.
It was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its. I agree.
So, yeah,
it was very much 2004 in its making.
I do you know, I think I'm going to start compiling a list of 1900s films that
You try and
like.
tell me you don't like Coming to America with Eddie
Never seen
Murphy?
it.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the one you're going to like. That's a good
The
movie.
problem is if you've never seen it and then you go into it with fresh 2025 eyes, then it's never going to live up to it. That's the problem.
Guarantee you, Emily won't get through the first minute of names on the screen.
Oh God, when they've got like 3 minutes of opening credits, I'm
Yeah,
out.
but we live in a modern world. You can skip that, you know. Like back in the day, we had to watch it. You didn't have a choice.
Well, yeah, and then if you input that rule into Emily watching a 1900s film, she will skip to the end and go, right, what are we watching next?
Sorry, I'm digressing here as well. But you remember back in the day? Sorry, it's something I read the other day. You know when they used to have the anti-piracy,
Yeah.
like the
I saw
advert
this
on
too.
it. Yeah. The actual font was pirated.
Pirated. Yeah, it was an illegal font. I heard that as well.
So yeah.
There you go.
That is outrageous, isn't it?